It's a pleasure to meet you. I think I have met some of you, but not all of you. So it's a pleasure to be here today and talk with you. I don't know the protocol. Should I stand, sit? What is?
Jon Mendenhall. We're pretty relaxed here. We try to run a kind of a casual meeting, and so feel free to just conduct yourself like you feel like you.
When I talked with Morgan originally, I wanted to speak with you just to introduce myself and to let you know that my door's always open to any of your needs, questions you may have, and that goes for everyone, board members, planning board members, board of adjustment members, the public. But I also now want to talk with you momentarily about plans for the future, future staff support for this board. Met with the board of adjustment, had a nice meeting with them at 1 o'clock today. As Morgan alluded to, her last days at month end, and we'll be transitioning to new staff support for the planning board and board of adjustment. I want to get your thoughts on that and have any sort of feedback, any needs you have or questions you have. I'll be helping in that transition. We need to look and fully evaluate all our options so far as staffing, make sure we're right size as an organization and as a county. Cost control and understanding full cost accounting is very important, so we need to make that analysis. No final plans have been made at this time, so everything is being looked at. We want to be very judicious in the expenditure of county funds. But I also want to have your input in the process of what you think you need, things that you'd like to see. So if you would, I'd like to hear from you all, if I could, as a brief listening session for things that you'd like to see take place and occur now and moving forward into the future, Mr. Chairman.
Would you like to have the comments?
Sure. I will take them right now. Lay it on me.
Well, I'll start off. I guess other than Rita, I've probably been here as long as anybody. And what I've seen so far, and as being on the planning board, I think that we have one of the best planning boards that we have. We strive to give the commissioners a good recommendation, and we don't just pick up paper and leave and read it and give them, we research. Morgan has been great to give us information in the past of different counties and stuff, so we could combine things to put them together to make the best recommendation we can. Our problem in the past is we've had no support, or little support, in moving forward with the recommendations that we presented to the commissioners. I would like to see in the future more cooperation with the commissioners and the planning board for us to move forward. Without the cooperation, we cannot move forward. There's a lot of things that should be in place that are not. I'll give you an instance right here. We've spent a lot of time on the not the signage, but the landscaping. Chuck Brothers had sent a picture of a place in Sunbury, which was a brand new building that really was very untidy. And without this being in place, I look to see that the Commerce Center, I do not want to see the Commerce Center to look like a circus out there. We need something in place. We need a little more cooperation to see when these buildings are up there that we have uniformity, that we want to be proud of what we put in Gates County. So I would just ask that you would work a little closer with us, give us some support, some guidance, and hopefully that we can move forward. And that's all I have to say.
I agree with Joe 100%. We've had a landscaping ordinance that we presented to the commissioners time after time, probably for close to 2 years. And they have, their inability to act on anything like that has been, I think, a hindrance to the planning board and Morgan's job as a planner. And I think they need to get off their hands and do something before it's too late. And you've got two nice buildings already out there at Commerce Center, and all it's gonna take is one bad one to go out there and ruin the whole thing that has been put together by commissioners and everybody out there.
We created a landscaping and sign ordinance that we worked very hard on, and I did a PowerPoint presentation and everything, but just reading notes, what they got hung up on was the bond issue. They couldn't get beyond the bond issue. And as well as the cost to, we'll just say, mom and pop businesses versus something like a credit union.
Anyone else have any comments?
And I would just like to kind of speak from both sides of the fence on that, because I've been on the board of commissioners and on the planning board also. And I kind of agree, well, I do agree with what Joe has said. And sometimes in the past, I don't know if I should have been more aggressive to get the board of commissioners to meet more with the planning board and try to get on the same page. I don't know how Graham feels, but that's the way I feel from sitting on the planning board now. I think the board of commissioners and the planning board, they need to have a little better communication.
Being on the planning board is a big responsibility, and we need lots of guidelines as to the zoning. I think that's one of the things we need to look at is uniformity in how we approach the zoning of each parcel. And also, we need to move forward in the county, but also remember our past, our history of the county, and to also think about the little communities and putting businesses back in those closed storefronts. But this is a big responsibility, and welcome to the county. I think you'll love it here.
Thank you very much. Everyone's been very welcoming and very kind and hospitable. I look forward to it.
The only thing I'll add to everything, and I concur with what everybody has said, and to give you a little basis of what Joe was referencing about the building, I sent about 4 photos out to Morgan of a newly formed business in Sunbury as a representation of how the landscaping ordinance would have been a mechanism of control. And what it was something as simple as the screening around the dumpsters. And that seems to have fallen upon deaf ears in response that when they think of the landscaping ordinance, the comment comes back, well, what has a shrub got to do with it? Well, there's more mechanics in that landscaping ordinance other than X amount of shrubs, X amount of distances apart for this. There was other things that I think all of our concerns is the Commerce Center of creating a circus atmosphere, and let's put the rubber on the road. There was nothing in place for the commissioners of Gates County, past and present, when they spent the money to put the library out there, to landscape that facility to where it had curbside appeal. They spent taxpayers' money at no regulatory intervention. So if the county can spend revenue to make their own building look presentable to the eye of the public and passersby, then why shouldn't C, D, E, F, and G properties have the same applicable regulation to be held by? And I don't think anything that we worked on was to a commercial business. I don't think it's anything that was not or could not be thought of or budgeted in, because I think the one lady that was here in regards to the business, her comment was, we're not gonna do it if y'all don't hold us, and we already know that it's got to be done, but we're not gonna do it if the county doesn't have the standard. So I think all of us on the board understand and appreciate that these commercial entities have got X amount of money built in for some type of landscaping, whether they're held accountable to do it or whether they're gonna do it on their own. What we're scared of is the ones that are gonna degrade the curbside appeal of the people that spent money that didn't have to. That's my concern. On an administrative note, I'd like to see 2 things happen, and I've been a strong advocate of this, and Graham, and I don't know if Wade was on the board when I brought this up. I know Chairman Jordan has heard me say this a couple times, and he's in the audience. I would love to see the commissioners appoint a liaison from the commissioners to be in our meetings as a non-voting person of this board that can communicate between the board and carry these comments to them and bring their thoughts to us. We need some type of mechanism to mitigate that railroad track. And in the short term, or whether the long term, I think Morgan's job, or whomever the new person would be, he or she, I think it's their job to carry this meeting and carry the planning board in a left or right way, or if they're extreme in either way, to bring them back. I don't think it should be her job to have to take the minutes. I think there should be another person that comes to these meetings to do nothing but take the minutes. And the county's paying for people to work from 8 to 5, and I don't see why we can't have somebody in here for 2 hours, once a month. I think it's that person's job to lead this group, and they can't lead effectively and efficiently if they're trying to listen to everything that Lynn said at 3:05 and Ms. Felton said at 3:10. We need somebody dedicated to do nothing but take minutes. And that's my 2 cents worth.
We have any minute? I think everybody's spoken.
I don't know enough to say.
John, that's John too. Do you want to be introduced to the planning board, John, or would you rather meet him on an individual basis?
We can meet individually afterwards.
Okay,
That's
that'd be
okay. I'd
great.
like to talk with individually.
John Carter has just been on, was it 2 months, John, or 3?
I started December.
You know, so he's kind of in the learning process. He's got a good background to help us, so we're looking forward to working with John, and I know he's going to be a great help to us. So, okay. From here, we're going to go to proposed rezoning. The first one's going to be Briarwood Forest Products, Merchants Commerce Zone.
Are you done?